For USCFootball.com, I'm Keely Eure here with Chris Treviño for instant analysis of USC's Wednesday practice of BYU week. Now today is the day we talk to defensive coaches and players, and of course we had to ask them what happened on Saturday. First up was defensive coordinator Todd Orlando. How do you explain what went wrong against UCLA?
Yeah, Todd, instinctively, after Saturday's loss, he was walking by, he said, I'll get you guys on Wednesday. Today is Wednesday, so we did get to talk to him. You asked him how he felt that performance went or what went wrong. And he overall said, he felt like the team was communicating well. He felt like they were in the right position for the majority of that afternoon. But, Chip Kelly, they throw a lot of formations at you. They throw a lot at you. And he said he felt like they handled that communication-wise. But he just felt like it came down to them not making the plays when the opportunities were there. You missed out on some deep passes. You missed out on some interceptions. Things like that, missing the gap, stuff like that. So just couldn't come up with the plays when they needed them the most.
Mm-hmm. And that prompted me to ask a follow-up. Well, is it frustrating as a defensive coordinator when your scheme is not necessarily the problem? He said that there weren't a lot of coverage busts. It was just making the play when you get there. And what do you have to say about that?
Yeah, he gave an interesting answer because, what you just said kind of felt like it reflected on, the players were put in the right position. They just didn't have the plays being made. And Orlando, came out and said, as a coach, I'm the type of person that would never say anything about my player other than, what can I do to get them better? What can I do to coach them up, to put them in position to make those plays? And that's kind of the answer he gave. At this point, whoever they play, they are who they are. They know what they're going to run. They know what you're going to see out there on Saturday. So they do their best to just try to give them the answers to the test ahead of time. Those were his words, give them the answers to the test and, roll them out there and see if it happens. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. And he felt like the area they're really struggling. He feels like they're giving them the answers, but the consistency is not there to get it done on the field on Saturday.
And in that sense, do you feel like that's where USC is lacking a little bit of star power on defense, or those who they expected to be the stars on defense aren't really showing up too much right now?
Yeah, you have some big-name defensive players on the defense. Some of them have been banged up. Some of them, have left in the transfer portal. What are that, Jay Toye, a guy who could have helped in the defensive side of the ball. But, they don't have a lot of bodies. They don't have, like you said, a lot of star power. So, yeah, the Jimmys and Joes method. I feel like that's something Shotgun would have said if he were standing right here. In college, the Jimmys and Joes over the X's and O's. You have, guys on your side of the ball. Most of the time, you're going to come out with a win. And USC does have a couple dudes, but not enough dudes that are making the plays and not enough dudes overall consistent across the board that are getting it done for this defense.
Mm-hmm. I know you talked to veteran defensive back Greg Johnson about how you keep the team together. What's the motivation at this point? What do you have to say?
Yeah, because I asked him specifically about, Dante, ripping into the team yesterday about the lack of energy. He said, yeah, he was right to call us out. Today he felt like they came out a little bit better. But overall, they just have to keep the momentum going. I know, it's tough at the end of the season. These losses are piling up. It's hard to keep that same mentality going throughout, day in, throughout. Tough practices, long season, a season that's been extended a little bit more an extra week because of the Cal game. So you just have to keep that momentum, keep grinding, keep getting it through it, and, trying to kind of work through that. But, as a veteran, you try to get on players, try to keep their heads up, try to keep them moving.
Mm-hmm. Now, not to put you on the spot here, Chris, but I know you're the expert preview man. You do a quick look at the start of every week. How similar is UCLA to BYU as far as run game and whatnot?
Yeah, BYU has a very good run game coming in. Tyler Allegiant, I hope I'm saying that right. He's one of the best running backs in the country. Over 1,300 yards rushing. He's having a breakout year. I believe he's number 2 nationally in touchdowns. So he's putting up the numbers. They're going to try to run the ball. That's obviously an issue that USC has had, stopping the run defense. I think it's just going to be another challenge for them just because they're facing another really talented back. They have multiple backs that can throw at them. And then their quarterback is a little bit of a runner too. He can run the ball too, and that's obviously Dorian Thompson-Robinson ran wild on USC.
Yeah.
Hopefully there's no hurdles against the USC defenders this week, but very similar, kind of a mobile quarterback with a really good rushing attack, really good running back. So it's going to be a very big test, again, in here in the Coliseum, and obviously they're not hoping to have a repeat of what happened last weekend.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was going to ask you. It's prediction time, Chris. How do you think this one's going to go? Do you think USC has learned the issues that plague them against UCLA and can transfer it to BYU, or is this going to be another ugly one in the Coliseum?
I try to be a little bit positive on instant analysis when I do get the opportunities to be on instant analysis, but it's hard to do that, coming off what just happened on Saturday. We've seen sort of a lack of energy throughout this week of practice. Today was a little bit shorter, just shoulder pads and shorts a little bit. Tuesday, obviously, the team got ripped. Did not like the effort that
Yeah.
they came out with. So that's not a great omen for what's going to go on. You know, BYU obviously has been a Pac-12 killer this season.
Yeah.
So I'm sure Kalani Sitake's ready to come in here and make another big statement in the Coliseum. So I'm not feeling great about that. I don't think USC fans are feeling great about that. They have a high-powered offense. Jackson Dart, maybe he can make some plays, but if the defense doesn't stop anybody, you know, it feels like this one could get out of hand, similar to what, you know, UCLA did on Saturday. So, you know, I'm feeling it could get a little bit ugly, especially if the defense doesn't you know, they'll have those answers, I'm presuming, as Todd Orlando said, but if they're not writing down filling in the correct boxes, I think it's going to be a long one for USC fans, especially at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, or 7:30. But yes,
7:30, yes.
bubbling in the right answers. Well, any final thoughts, Chris, before we wrap this one up?
No, I did not expect to be doing instant today. So
you filled in admirably.
For me, I find I'm always thrown in when I'm least expecting it. So I always try to stay ready and be ready. You know,
you prep like a starter.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. But you know, you're just hoping that, you know, the team hasn't really given up yet, even though there is, you know, just 2 weeks left of the season. These losses can take a mental toll on a team overall, defensively, offensively. You just hope that you can still see a little bit of fight left going throughout the week, throughout the final two stretch of the season, and you know, hope maybe they can make a couple plays and maybe they can build off that instead of, you know, kind of roll over, which we've seen when things get really bad out there.
Mm-hmm. Also, before we wrap it up, happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Chris, I want a Thanksgiving tip. Take it away.
All right, here's what you're gonna do. Pumpkin pie. If you don't mess with pumpkin pie, then just turn it off. You don't have to listen to me. Get a slice of pumpkin pie. Make sure it has that nice sheen on it. That's key. Not a dried out. Yeah, glistening. Take some Cool Whip, not canned. None of that crap. No, Cool Whip. Don't off-brand it. Cool Whip. Get the biggest spoon you can find. I like to do 3, but start off with 2 because you're beginners and you're just doing this. Take 2 big scoops. Plop them right down there. Take the backside of the spoon. Encase that baby. Wrap it up.
Like a good tackle.
Like a good tackle. And sconce that baby. Get it all the way around. Not the crust, just the pie portion. Get it all the way around so it covers the entire thing. Dig in.
Well,
thank me later. That's all I can give you right now. That's my pro tip. Yeah.
Well done. That is a pro tip. You come for USC football news, stay for the Thanksgiving tips. That's going to wrap it up for Chris Treviño. I'm Keely Eure. For more, check out uscfootball.com.